welcome to the Pillar Podcast, Student Edition. I'm your host, Ian Brandon, and today I am at Barrett Traditional Middle School. And I have I have a couple of awesome 8th graders here, and today we will be discussing mental health and wellness. I will let these two awesome young ladies introduce themselves.
I'm Leila Graham, and I'm in the 8th grade here at Barrett Middle School.
My name is Emily Goen, and I'm also an 8th grader here at Barrett.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining me today. You have a very nice campus here. How do you all like your campus?
I like it a lot. Yeah, I like how it still is original from when it was built and how big it is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like there's a lot of schools have had a lot of renovations, but this seems to be pretty close to its original aesthetic look.
Yeah, I love how authentic our campus is. I think it's so pretty.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's jump right in here, guys. So I want to get your opinion on really what mental health and wellness means to you guys. So Emily, why don't you start off? Okay. What does mental health mean to you?
To me, mental health is just your well-being up here, like in your mind. Like how you feel, how you carry yourself, how you carry your head on your shoulders, just how you feel in general.
I agree with that. Like it's how your feelings and like the stuff that's going on in your head and all of that stuff and how healthy or not healthy it is.
Yeah. And I would imagine, if you guys can imagine, right? I was once in 8th grade, believe it or not. So I can understand just the weight as you're growing, learning more about yourselves, your peers, the life around you. That could be pretty heavy. Are you guys familiar with any methods or strategies to promote a healthy or positive mental health and awareness?
Yes.
So what are some of the things that, well, first, who did you learn these things from, and what are they? How do you incorporate them into your daily life?
Me personally, I've learned it from my counselors and like family members, and I've been able to like take the methods they use, like the counting method or like thinking it out, taking time to actually understand what's going on. And yeah, I use that.
The mental health practitioner here at Barrett, Miss Henderson, she's helped me a lot through the years here at Barrett. Just to I personally struggle with anxiety, and she's helped me with multiple coping skills, such as like stress with homework. She'll help me write it out just to take the edge off of everything.
Nice. Well, I don't know if you're nervous today or if you're using any of these skills right now, but if you are, I can't tell. So kudos to those individuals, right? How do you think a poor understanding of mental health affects you all in school?
If you don't understand what's going on with yourself, or if you are having like issues mentally or you're struggling in some way and you don't express that to someone, I feel that people who don't do that can slowly it can start taking a toll on you and your well-being and the way you perform.
I completely agree with that. Like not understanding and not being able to communicate your feelings with somebody who can help you, like I feel like eventually that just takes a huge toll on your mental health.
So with that, have you seen within yourselves or your peers here at Barrett, have you seen that toll manifest its way into the climate and culture of the school? And if so, in what ways?
Yeah, most definitely. I've seen people struggling here, and I can just tell, like, even just in class, just their body language, because I personally struggle, like, I try to look out for others, and even just, like, bouncing your leg, it's just, I just try to help, and I can see that throughout the classes here.
And I've noticed if like one person is feeling bad, or you have like a friend or like someone that you're around a lot, it can start taking a toll on them too. And I've seen where people who are sad, they get helped by friends like that. And I think it's really important to have friends who can help you.
So you mentioned your mental health practitioner, Miss Henderson,
Yes.
correct? Obviously, that is a very important role within the school district. Do you, obviously, she's giving you some advice, coping mechanisms, strategies to help you, right, be aware and overcome. But do you believe Miss Henderson could use some help? And what I mean by help is capacity. And do you think there are other things that the school district could be doing to help supplement or add to what Ms. Henderson is doing here?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's always room for improvement in the mental health aspect, specifically in JCPS. I think there's always room for improvement to help benefit us.
Yeah, she can't do everything alone. She's only one person.
Yeah. So take a couple seconds, think about some of the things Ms. Henderson and you mentioned your counselor as well. Just take a mental snapshot of some of the things that they help you all with and execute. What would you like to see added on to that's not already here? Like if you had a gift giver to give you a mental health gift, what would that gift be? Like it could be maybe the room we're in is very nice, but I don't know, maybe it's something that's tangible. Is it something after school? Is it an opportunity for like-minded people to connect? Is it something conversational to release? Is it what we would call wraparound services, like outside entities coming in, giving information, or just additional trainings? Like, what do you think? If anything, if you think it's great, then that's fine. That's a nice bell you got.
Yeah. I would say one thing that I kind of wish we had, and maybe other students have this, but more connections to like outside therapists for more deeper help, for connections with students that are really struggling. I feel like that would be helpful. And another thing, like, I feel like we filled out Google Forms before to see what groups we should be put in to talk about things that we struggle with, like mental health. But I feel like we've never really acted on that, so I would love to do that.
Yeah, like the Google form, like she was saying, I've had people like come up to me and they were like, they were doing the Google form, like my friends and stuff, and they were like, I don't want to tell the truth on this because I don't like talking to people and I don't want them to think that there's something wrong with me. So I think that just a better way for kids not to be scared to show what's going on with them.
Yeah, definitely better ways to communicate how we're feeling to our peers. I feel like that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's a great comment. You mentioned essentially you're talking about perception, right? If a student doesn't want to come forth or talk about it, it's I would imagine it's because of the stigma around mental health, right? You don't want to be looked at as an outsider or something's weak. That's a great weak. Is that how you feel? Not necessarily you, but just thinking about your peers, right? Because your voice right now for yourself and peers, like expressing a need for mental health that has a negative connotation of or stigma of being weak, would you say?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you think needs to happen to change the negative narrative or stigma around that?
Just more communication about it. I feel like the counselors here do a great job, but I also feel like there could be more. Just like if you need help, reach out. Just as simple as that. I feel like that would help a lot.
Yeah, because I've like seen people, even though they give us videos, they teach us lessons, but people don't take it seriously. I think if there's a way that people could take the stuff that our counselors and our health administrators are teaching us more seriously, I feel like that could help them to open up more.
I feel like there should be a more personable way to communicate with our students about the mental health.
Yeah, so do you think something more live and in person, like if you had to like reenact something, or if there was a reference to like a real life mental health crisis that happened, and obviously everyone would remain anonymous, but if you knew like this was a real person in a real situation with real outcomes, it would make it feel more real to those that may not be taking it as serious.
Most definitely, yeah. I think them seeing that there's kids their age going through the same thing that they're going through, or maybe even just a friend, a family member, a peer, I think it would be much easier for them to see that from coming from someone their age and going through their experiences and opening up more.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of feeling of alone in the mental health aspect. Like I feel like a lot of kids just feel alone in their struggles, and I feel like if they saw somebody's real story and like how they got help, I feel like that would help so much.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you know, we can become detached from reality, right? And we kind of need things to reel us back in, right? Here at Barrett, what would you like to see coming from your counselors or the mental health practitioner? What would you like to see more of as it relates to advocating for mental health, activities around mental health? Like, what do you think you're missing? Or what would take it from an 8 to a 9?
Maybe instead of just talking about and sitting down with the counselor, because that's what happens when you fill out a form. They call you down and you sit down with the counselor and you basically say this and this is wrong. I believe that there should be a better way for counselors to take what we're feeling and help us to feel better. I'm not exactly sure what that way should be, but I think that there definitely is ways of better interacting with people who are going through something like this.
Yeah. I don't really know what else.
That's fine. Do you think, would you like something more course related, like maybe mental health, not necessarily as its own class, but maybe some form of enrichment, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like during school?
Yeah, I feel like, again, with the coming together with other people who struggle with the same thing as you, I feel like that would just help so many kids feel less alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I want to know one thing that you feel today's young student like yourself is experiencing that someone like myself, a little older, or someone like your counselor or mentor practitioner doesn't understand, or may not even be aware of, that you all may be dealing with as students?
I feel like one thing that, I'm trying to think of how to word this. I feel like sometimes the counselors, not necessarily here, just in general, like teachers and stuff, when you go to them for support, they think you're just not doing your work because you don't want to do it. Like, they don't really take into account that there might be something else going on that's not just motivation related, or you just don't want to do your work. I feel like that's a big issue.
Another thing is, like, we've been surrounded by, like, social media, things like since I've been in kindergarten, I've seen, like, superiority coming from older grades to younger grades, and, like, bullying and, like, issues like that. And when you go to a counselor, they're like, that's not bullying, or, like, there's easier ways to get through this. Or, like, I remember in elementary school, counselors would always be like, always say, ignore them, and that's not always easy to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, when you're dealing with somebody, especially when I was in 6th grade, I personally struggle with the older grades just constantly picking at me, and one time I was threatened, and it was so scary. And just, I feel like some people tell me, oh yeah, just ignore it, and, like, sometimes that's an appropriate way to approach it, but other times it's really hard.
Yeah.
So how do you, because you guys are in 8th grade now, right? You guys are running this show here, right? What advice would you all give to current 6th graders, or maybe 5th graders who will be coming into Barrett next year?
You don't have to try to make an amazing impression on everyone. Be yourself, and don't let older people get to you. They're just using the fact that they are older to think that they are better. And I've seen that happen, like, today with people in our grade. I've seen them pick on grades younger than us, or people that look different, or even people in our grade that they don't like. I've seen people do it.
Yeah, I wish with the older grades towards the younger grades, I wish it was more the perspective that, oh yeah, I should help them because they look like they're struggling, rather than, oh, I should pick on them, they don't know what they're doing. Like, I wish that was more of a perspective in our grade.
So, have you guys ever been in, I know when I was your age, we had, like, peer groups, right? Or we had peer groups, and we did, like, mediation training. So when we encountered a situation that may be bullying, or someone being taken advantage of, or being disruptive or fighting, like, we as peers got mediation training, and we could talk to one another and resolve our situation as peers. Do you guys do anything like that, or would you like to see anything like that?
I feel like we don't really have anything like that where people can, like, talk about what's going on. I feel like your only options are your counselor, and, like, there's some clubs like filling out the Google form, but I feel like there's not a way for students to talk to other students about the way that they're feeling. And
Yeah, I definitely would love to see some more peer interaction with mental health, rather than just from student to adult. I feel like that would, again, help kids feel a lot less alone.
And with the advice and guidance you receive from your counselors and mental health practitioner here, how have you seen those things change your perception and or how you handle things in the schoolhouse? You think it's made you more confident? Have you been able to notice, wow, I'm feeling anxious, I need to take a second, employ this? Like, have those things helped better your school experience?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I start to get stressed, about a test or something, like, I'll be like, oh yes, I'm feeling anxious. I need to take a minute and just take some deep breaths. Maybe just write how I'm feeling quickly in a notebook and rip it up and throw it away. That's how I personally cope. Like, I'll take something and throw it away just to get rid of it physically, which can help a lot.
Nice. What about you?
I've seen people like they have in here. They have like stress balls. They have ways you can color. I feel like me personally, I like to color, and I like to just take a moment to myself, and that just helps me get better, and then I can
Regulate,
start. Yeah.
Do you think that like once you do that, you're able to like refocus on, let's say, a test or taking notes or class, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's a negative way that you've experienced or seen, right? Someone that may not be able to utilize those coping mechanisms or advice. Like, what's the inverse of your experience, of that experience?
I've seen people start to not understand themselves. I've seen people to start getting in trouble a whole lot more. Like, there's people that we went to school with a long time ago that now are completely different people. And I think that if they had better guidance or people to help them, that they would be better.
Definitely. And I've seen a lot of kids just turn to unhealthy coping skills like drugs. I've seen that impact a lot of people. And we just need better guidance and better people to recognize that and be able to check in with them before that occurs.
Well, if I want to congratulate you guys, right? Because you're actually making history. Today is the first episode of the Student Podcast. So you're my first guest. I brought a gift bag with me. I'll give you guys when we're done. No one else is gonna get it. You're the first. You're the first one. So I had to do something good. Right?
Thank you.
You guys took time out of your day, so I appreciate that. And I want to make an open invitation. Obviously, I'm going to be going to different schools, interviewing different students on some similar topics, some different. But my hope and goal is to do a couple episodes where I can invite different students who want to talk about the same things together. So we may have you guys from Barrett. There may be some students from, say, Westport or Mazik that may be interested in having a group conversation.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I really want a conversation where you guys can converse with each other.
Yeah.
Without adults, right?
Yeah. And I like to see like what's going on at other schools too.
Yeah.
You can only know so much, even if you have friends that go to other schools. I'd like to know what they're going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to make connections because there's a lot of connections here at Barrett, but I would love to see what's going on at other schools and just see what they're experiencing.
One thing before we go, we talked a little bit before the interview started about some of your dreams and aspirations. Share with us where you guys are looking to go to high school potentially and college.
For high school, I am applying for manual. I know that. And I have an automatic spot at Ballard and Mail, so I may go there. And I've found myself, I have an interest in the pre-med program at Central, so that's also a good option. And for college, I've been thinking about like Howard, Harvard, U of L, places like that where I can easily get a medical degree.
For high school, it's always been my dream since elementary to go to Manual High School, just because of all the extracurricular stuff they have. I mean, not just your core subjects, like they have so many other things. I would love to go into meteorology eventually, so they just have a lot of resources for me to do that. So I love that.
Well, I wish you both the best. I know you're gonna do great. You only have pretty much a half a year left as 8th graders. Now you'll be entering that high school pool. You're gonna go from the high women's on the totem pole to the lowest, right? But I know you guys are gonna do great.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the time, and I'm gonna let you guys get back to school because that's the reason you are here. But again, thank you, and I'll be reaching out to your counselors again to see the next time we can have a conversation. Sounds
I
good?
love that. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Well, good.
Really
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Well, actually, wait, before we go, last thing. Let's open this up and let's see what we got in here.
Affirmation card.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Those are so sweet.
I'm big on affirmations.
Yes.
I think it's something that will also help support the mental health component, right? So yeah, I want to get you guys some affirmation cards, and looks like you got a couple books in there. What you got there?
Becoming. I have that. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Nice.
You were only just beginning.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys like it. I wanted to
That's so sweet.
gift you all with something for being my first, for being the first. So you're making history, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.